Hey, Shane Olson here, myflyguy.ca and My Fly Guy Fly Shop in southern Alberta, Canada. Up here in Canada right now, we are frozen solid. It is very cold out, so what do we do in Canada when it's cold? We tie. Now, this is a fly, it's a variation of a pattern. It's fairly common, backswimmer or a boatman. This one I'm actually going to make a little bit lighter. I noticed in our local waters, the boatmen come out quite light, almost in a tan. So I'm going to use some mallard flank, and I'm going to use some peacock hurl, or sorry, no, not peacock, ostrich hurl, as an alternative to keep this fly a little bit lighter. So as you can see, just a number 12 standard hook, and I've taken some brass eyes and I put them on the bottom side right under the tip. Now you might be worried about fly or gap for actual hookup, but I've still found that I still hook up quite a bit on this fly, and it seems to be fairly effective this way. Why I do that is because it keels the fly very nicely, and it gives it a fantastic action in the water. All right, so now that I've got that eye attached, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a mallard flank for my shell. I'm going to attach it upside down like this. Got to get that nice and even or to make it look right. Okay. We'll get that right behind the eye. Just like so. Okay. Oops. Underneath. Now that I've got it attached to the top, I'll lose the rest of this feather. Okay, little stragglers, we'll trim these out. Great thing about the way this mallard flank comes over is, and the barbs in the natural feather, it rolls over and it looks right proper when it comes to the actual shading of the backswimmer shell back. Okay, so then I'm gonna got that set up. Then I'm gonna throw in my ostrich hurl, and I'm just using some really light. It's called ginger. And I'm going to use some with smaller bars on it so we can keep this tight. And what we've got, take a couple here just so we can bulk it up fast. But these are fairly small. And it's going to look something like that. Okay, keep that right behind the eye. All right, so now I just use silly legs for the legs. And the reason I do that is I find they have excellent action. They flop in the water nicely like they're supposed to. It looks like that that backswimmer gives it that fantastic motion that we need. Now backswimmers, as you know, are quite active in the water, so you want to fly with lots of action that's easy to manipulate. All right, now I've got those settled. I like where those are sitting. We'll get those up forward when we need to. Okay, I'm going to trim those down a little bit. Don't worry about the length right yet. Okay, now I'm going to take that ostrich and I'm going to just hackle it back. Weave it through a few things like so. And we're going to end up with something fairly fluffy, just like so. We should be at that stage right now. Now worry about the legs, like as I said, we'll take care of those in just a sec here. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to make sure we end up with a teardrop shape coming backwards. So what I do is we're going to hit this like this, and that's coming out really well across the top. You can see that the way that that feather has turned out, it rolls across the back and makes that teardrop shape for that nice body. And the coloring, because of that mallard flank, is almost perfect. All right. So we're going to tie that up, button that up like that. And we'll do a quick finish. And we end up with something that looks like that. Now I'm just going to take those legs forward. We'll clip those off. Like so. Like I said, I like these flies. Lots of action in the water. Early season when that water starts coming off, the trout go crazy for them. Now I'm just going to take some resin. I'm going to smear that and level it out a little bit. It gives it that nice wet look. We end up with something that looks like that. I'll just cure that. And we have a lighter version of a backswimmer that, because that dumbbell eye in the bottom keels very nicely and goes through the water beautifully. Has a fantastic action. I've had a lot of success in this fly, especially in the still water fisheries. Hope you guys like the fly. Let me know what you think, and I hope to see you out on the water.